Welcome to round 9 of 13 of the V8 Supercar Championship, the first of 2 consecutive endurance races.
Southwest of Brisbane, Willowbank is a fast, sweeping circuit. There are only 6 corners, and each lap covers 3.12 kilometres. Garth Tander holds the lap record set in the first year of the 500, a 1:11.003.
The first endurance race of the season, the Queensland 500, is underway, and it looks as though Mark Scape has got off to a flyer and shoots to the front as they take on turn 1. Bernard zips around his teammate out of Stone Brothers Racing, Ambrose, and this is a real dogfight as they go to 2. They settle it through. Scape goes through first. Bernard is insistent on the outside. He'll find some dirt and dust.
That's crazy, getting out over that step so early in the race. Turn 2, David Bernard with the head down around the outside of his teammate. Boy, oh boy, that was risky stuff, particularly for 2 team cars on the opening lap of this race.
Oh, amazing power down, though, from the Holman Racing team. Scape was just out of the box like a rocket. 34 comes around, Tander and Bargwanna. So they're just settling into the first lap. Only 6 turns here and 2 left-handers among those 6. This is the first of them. That's turn 4. Doubles around to turn 5, which is the other left-hander. They've just accomplished that now. And down to finish off this lap. Rejoin the front straight after turn 6. Scape has got clean air in front of him. Ambrose. Now Brad Jones has slotted up rather John Bowe behind the wheel, so the Aussie Mail Racing with a good start as well.
Mark Scape, fastest lap once again. He's bringing it down, a 1:12.259. And David Bernard now is setting even quicker, a 1:12.16. So they're knocking on the door of the 1:11s. 1:11.59, the lap record set last year. So they're circulating around half a second slower at this stage of the race. Scape leading this one. Marcus Ambrose in second. David Bernard in third. That's Bowe, the 2 Kellys, 5th and 6th. Russell Engel, Max Wilson, Craig Baird, Larry Perkins, the top 10 to state, fairly static. Mark Larkham is in 11th. Longhurst in 12th. Cameron McLean, the Queenslander, he's done well. He's in 13th spot. Now we're getting a message from our cameraman high in the cherry picker overlooking this circuit that he's feeling a few drops of water. So maybe we could have some showers. Boy, oh boy.
It's probably because he's so far up. He's above the clouds up there.
Times are settling down. Scape's just done a couple more. 1:12.1. So he dipped down into the 1:11.89 on lap 6. But he's just done a few, just around 1:12, 1:12.1. So it looks like that could be the race pace. The car's settling down into a groove now. Everything should be up to temperature. Drivers have a feel for what the car needs.
I think the scary thing is that they're both under 23 years of age. Todd's 22 and Rick's 19. Can you imagine what's still to come out of the Kelly family, especially if they stay with the 2 or the big organisations such as TWR? They've got an extremely big future, and Rick Kelly has been quite amazing in his first full season of V8 Supercar racing, especially in qualifying. Qualified in the top 10 for the last 3 rounds. And car number 2 is Jimmy Richards behind the wheel, giving Stephen Ellery a bit of a touch-up.
Yep, Stephen Ellery's Super Cheap Autos car, co-driven by Luke Youlden. Funnily enough, they've given Luke Youlden the start. Oh, look at this, under brakes, big lock brake on the Super Cheap Autos car as Richards attacks on the inside. Luke gives him racing room. Hopefully that hasn't damaged the tyres too much. Oh, he gets back into the battle, cuts across the front of the Kmart Commodore.
Now, how often does Jim Richards drive a V8 these days? The answer is not often, of course, but he was 5th fastest of all the drivers on the individual times in the first 3 sessions of racing. Not bad.
This is the tail end of the field now.
A lot of these teams, they want to go through. There's 2 compulsory fuel stops, and a lot of these teams want to make that the only 2 fuel stops they have to make. You'll see them trying to stretch it out. Last year we had the first pit stops happening about lap 60. That also allows the first driver to do his minimum number of laps.
Some drama on the track, some very clever pit stops here in anticipation of a safety car. As out on the circuit, there's been a coming together of McConville and Faulkner. It looks bad for John Faulkner, but here is the pit stop from the Donut King car. Christian de Gostin bringing it in, and that is the other car involved.
Oh, there's a fire underneath there at Cameron McConville's car, and he's on the side of the track as well. The safety car pulls away. They take aim at the main straight now. Scape is being hounded by the 2 Stone Brothers Racing Fords. We're underway again. Scaife into turn one. Ambrose behind him. Bernard is there. Then John Bow, Todd Kelly and Rick Kelly. And the safety car back out there as a result of that VIP entry stuck in the gravel.
Well, it's a bit of a quandary now. Tactical decision. Let's have a look at the Nintendo replay of that instant there. It looked like Baird was slowing with that engine problem, and Prio has not anticipated it. He's drilled the back of the Team Brock Commodore. That's damaged the front right corner of the Kmart machine.
Restart time. The safety car has pulled off, and Marcus Ambrose will take turn one first. Todd Kelly and then Rick Kelly. So car number one has already pulled in right behind the safety car.
Pump it up.
No, pad change underway. Helix pit stop clock tells the stories. It'll be very quick, but they've come into pit lane when the race has gone back to full green.
Guys, just to update you as well, Mark Scaife wasn't the only one in pit lane then. Max Wilson's car came in. Dean Canto now at the wheel. They too have done a pad stop.
Rusty's down there as they come past. They lock it back to 40 kilometres an hour.
12 seconds gone so far in this stop. Both the guys operating the front two wheels, watching one another so they're in sync when they push those pistons back inside the calipers. Front tyres going on. Paul wheel strapped in. 24, 25 seconds gone. Good stop by the Stone Brothers crew. Wheel is at the wheel and he's out of pit lane.
That's a good stop.
Well, the Stone Brothers team were under pressure to get that right, and they did a brilliant job. 120 litres, virtually 120 litres of fuel going in. Pad change, driver change. Quite incredible.
News from out on the course involving one of the better electrical Ford Falcons.
And look where they've come out. I think they've come out in front of Jason Bright.
Yeah, I think he has.
And the Holden Racing Team Commodore.
Super Cheap Auto comes in. Luke Yilden giving way to Stephen Ellery. There is their change. And now we're back with the Holden Racing team. A nice, efficient, quick stop as Thomas gets some track time. He'll come out in about the top 15 on the track.
Position-wise, these guys are around 14th and 15th. And you've got Paul Wheel driving now the Pertec Ford car and Jason Bright driving the Holden Racing Team Commodore. So Wheel is under an enormous amount of pressure, and just take a look at Bright really mowing him down. He gets him on the inside and chases through. Oh, this is going to be close down the back straight. Has Jason Bright got in front of Paul Wheel? I'd say yes. There was an enormous amount of pressure from car number one to take over, and he finally gets through. You can bet your bottom dollar that Paul Wheel is just going to have to keep a cool head now and tuck in behind him. This could be a major turning point in this race. Lap 64 of 161. And
he's shaking his head.
He is shaking his head. You can see it. Oh, hands on the hips, and dust flies. The Donut King entry of Daryl Beattie and Christian DeGostin.
Let's get back to pit lane there.
Back in pit lane, I tell you, this is it. This is crucial, absolutely crucial. It's dead. It's had enough. These guys are all the way up the end, and he's only halfway.
Trundling down pit lane, you can see Jason Bright shaking his head. We're just trying to work out the scenarios of driver distances between Scaife and Jason Bright, but it looks like it's all immaterial now. Let's have a look at that incident again. This is when Wheel got back in front, obviously. Look at the smoke pouring from. That's a major engine failure. Craig Lowndes getting in. Greg Rust is on the spot.
Full fuel and pad change happening here, guys. So far, 14 seconds gone for the 00 Motorsport team. Cromley looking pretty cool, actually. He's out of the car. Lowndes strapped in, ready to go. He's giving him the thumbs up. Oscar's call, pump up the brakes. Waiting for the fuel. 28 seconds gone so far for 00 Motorsport. Brakes gone.
Yeah, 30 seconds, nothing wrong with that. But in terms of the cars in the queue that have made their compulsory pad change and first fuel stop, Paul Wheel leads the charge, but this man is effectively in second place in the race. Paul Wheel, he's about 2 seconds behind the Pertec Falcon. You can see the rain there starting to stream off the screen. Keep in mind these cars are on slick tyres at the moment, full dry weather rubber with no tread pattern.
Oh no, Stephen Richards.
Stephen Richards.
Effectively second position, and that's a big off way down at the end of turn one. Keep going, get it out of the sand, and you'll make it back.
He did the sprint car fraternity crowd there.
So the defending champs. Yep.
Turn three is catching a lot of them out.
Steve Owen and Dale Breed in the Cat Ford.
You step off that sort of...
Oh, look how slow they're coming around this turn at the moment. Look how much they've backed off to when we started this thing. They were throwing him around there sideways. Now Paul Wheel gets a little bit of a tail spin as well. Turn 6 now, that's Craig Lowndes, 360, perfect pirouette. Can he get it back on? Yep. Lost about 6 or 7 places in that mess, so it's a slippery one. Oh, look at the Valvoline car of Tander and Bargwanna. Shot in front of Craig Lowndes. No doubt upset his rhythm, then he too was gone. Woo.
Meanwhile, there's been a black flag issued to car 31, the Super Cheap Autos car, for overtaking under safety car conditions. The officials coming down tough.
The Stone Brothers team doing a good job. Fuel complete, front wheel going on the right. Left taking a little bit longer, 31 seconds gone. Richo gets out ahead. So the Castrol Commodore leaves ahead of Bernard. They've made up ground in pit lane.
Wow.
Greg Murphy behind the wheel. If they do this well enough, they might put him back out in the lead. He exits, but there's still that agonising slow drive to the pit lane exit.
Final adjustments for Murph as he rejoins, and as you mentioned, Woodsy, this will put him back. Over the radio, they've been yelling out to them, remember that blend line, whatever you do, don't go over it. And this is what they're talking about, the yellow line just on the left, on his right, and he will come back in the lead comfortably. So, another slick pit stop from the Kmart crew. They've done it again. 51 goes back out in front in the VIP Pet Foods 500.
Oh, hard on the brakes down into turn 3. Boy, this tough. Tough on brakes, tough on drivetrain. We've seen an axle failure earlier in the day. Engines, left, right and centre. This place looks simple, but gee, it's tough on the machinery.
Yeah, and it's a weird blend because there's a couple of very, very fast corners, but some slow corners too. So you've got to make the car put its power down well, but you've also got to make it flow well. So it's sort of like a combination of a stop-start circuit with a Phillip Island or an Eastern Creek. It's quite a difficult mix.
Great battle here. Lap 129 of 161. This is the fight for 5th position. It's a three-way battle.
Ambrose got it too wide there, and John Bowe in the Brad Jones car is going to sneak up into that position. So Marcus Ambrose not only lost the battle with Garth Tander, but as we saw, JB was waiting to pounce and took it. That was turn 6. He got it a bit loose coming in there and then pushed it out wide.
So this is on board, looking at the back of Stephen Richards' car. Castrol team have been in this battle since the flag fell. Dunlop in car Canberra through the midsection, out of turn 5. Bernard has caught this car hand over fist. Last 5 laps, he's right on the bumper now.
And you can see the front accuracy then, Mark, when Steve Richards ran a little bit wide at the first left-hander, and he did a great job of actually making the apex and keeping the car speed up. And as you can see there, Bowie snuck past Tander. So that's an old head, isn't it?
He's given Marcus a bit of a lesson in how to do it.
Ambrose was trying very hard, and I thought that Bowie would attack him, and obviously here he is.
This is down at turn 3.
Oh, he has attacked him, all right.
Oh, a little nudge.
Really attacked him.
Well, maybe, is that redressing? Should that be redressed?
I don't know. don't put that responsibility on us. It's tough enough for Schenken and co. Diving down the inside through the slower traffic, Stephen Richards still in contention. 2.6 seconds behind Bernard, so you can see David got held up in the traffic there. Richards has got that lead under 3 seconds that time.
Oh, Greg Murphy now 9 seconds clear in that previous lap ahead of David Bernard. We'll see what the difference is this time around. He heads into turn 1, 9.09.
And look at this. Now, Jim Richards in the surviving Holden Racing Team Commodore is closing in on the back of the Pertec Ford. In fact, I think he's got him.
Well done, James. Isn't he going okay?
Your old mate.
Isn't he good?
6.3. He's found another 3/10 that lap. But I think Murph's going to have to make
someone to squeal.
Yeah, I can hear some tyres squealing there somewhere.
And this
there it is.
That was Steve Owen.
And if this is a safety car, this will be on for young.
Oh, no.
Now, it depends whether he can drive out of here. Yes, it could be a safety car.
What do they do here with 7 laps remaining?
I would say it's got to be a safety car.
Yeah, the safety car's on its way, and you've got yourself a shootout to the end between Murphy and Bernard. That's just what Murphy wouldn't have wanted, knowing that Bernard has been chipping away at the times.
go to reserve.
Well,
there
yeah,
you
there's
go.
no way.
Field to 5.
There's no way with 5 laps to go that it'll make it like that. We have there's 2 lights. There's a light left and light right, which are basically for resistors that are in the tank. And when the fuel uncovers the resistor, the light comes on. So then we go to reserve. You might get 2 laps like that, but I wouldn't think there's 5.
I think there's only 3 laps to find out when they get underway. Here we go. The safety car's pulled off. Murph has shot away. The other 2 cars, the Sirame Wyans car and the VIP car, are stuck to the left. Can Bernard shoot past them at turn 1? He gets past 1. Richards goes with him. What about the Sirame car? That's still in the way. So Murphy heads down towards turn 2. He's still got the race lead.
I can remember Paul Morris playing a pivotal role in a Bathurst result a few years ago. It's going to be interesting to see whether he makes life tough for David Bernard in this critical phase of the race. Down toward turn 3, 250 k's, hard on the brakes. Leaves the door open and Bernard sneaks up the inside, so it's a clean fight now.
Well, he shut Stephen Richards out too. Morris shut Stephen Richards out coming around that corner. There was a bit of a gap between there, so Stephen Richards will come back up now around turn 4. So now we've got Murphy and Bernard head-to-head at the front. We'll find out in a couple of laps.
Has Greg Murphy got enough fuel? That's the big question. He's saved by the slow recovery of that car out of turn 1. It went a long way off into the gravel, and that was valuable time for Greg Murphy under safety car conditions, if he is indeed running out of petrol.
1 second in it between 1 and 2, and just over half a second between positions 2 and 3. What an enthralling finish to this race. We understand he's running out. Murph may be running out, and David Bernard will be ready to pounce. It looks as though the Falcons are going to get their wish at this stage, and then Bernard's got to hold off, and he's got it. There goes David Bernard right around our race leader, and the Ford hits the front with just a lap and a bit to go, and they're celebrating like there's no tomorrow.
Oh, look at poor Todd Kelly. He cannot believe it.
Oh, that's the end of Greg Murphy's charge.
It's not a way to lose a race.
What an extraordinary event. David Bernard gets through to the front. Can you believe it? This was the last round that Ford won. They haven't been in the victory circle since. So 12 months later, it's back again.
You had the feeling that Stone Brothers Racing were capable of pulling it off. Stephen Richards wants to get past. Oh, Murphy's completely gone. Absolutely, completely gone. A horror situation for Kmart. They had it in the bag, but not enough in the tank. And Richards now will step up into 2nd position. So we've got Ford versus Holden still. 1 versus 2. Can David Bernard hold on? It looks as though we're going to get the breakthrough. And here we go, David Bernard in number 9, swings it around for the last time at turn 6 and takes aim at a pretty famous victory 12 months since Ford last got there. David Bernard gets the checkered flag and a Ford breakthrough in the V8 Supercar Championship Series.
Well, it's taken them a long time, but they've got there. Simon Wills, who partnered David Bernard in the winning. The Ford flags are flying now.
What it's done to the championship points, though, is quite interesting. You know, when I left the commentary box, Scapey was up there scribbling down all these points and trying to work it out. So for those of us who think that this championship is all over, then you've just got to see the guy who's at the top who's still stressing about a few points.